If you're a high achieving woman who is out here dating and you're finding that the reliable men, the ones who are consistent, the ones who pursue you, the ones who are quite frankly stable, are boring to you, and that feels very uncomfortable, I gotta tell you something. You are probably addicted to chaos, and you're probably attracted to men who are not good for you, while at the same time finding yourself attracted to men who are emotionally unavailable, dramatic, chaotic, and make your life a mess. So the reality is, it's not your fault. What's going on here is that your nervous system was probably trained to expect stress, rejection, and drama. But the good news is that you can rewire it, and we're going to talk about how. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. If that is something that you are interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. Lately, we've been talking a lot about divine feminine energy, how to attract healthy men, nervous system regulation, manifestation, you name it. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And as always, if I have extra resources available for those of you who want to go deeper into the content that we're going to be talking about in this video, I will reference them as we go through the video itself, but you can always find the links to everything in the description below. So let's get into it, right? First of all, let me explain how I came to this conclusion. I've been coaching women for 15 years. I became a certified life coach in 2013, but basically since 2010, I have been in some way, shape, or form in the personal development space. I've had multiple businesses. I've worked with women mostly. I've also worked with men. And I've seen a lot. Okay, after 15 years and thousands of coaching hours, you just start to pick up on certain things, right? And one of the things that I picked up on was that most people are actually addicted to chaos. I would see this in multiple different ways. One way in which I would see this, and by the way, I used to do it as well, so I completely understand, but one way in which this would come up would be with money. For example, like I would coach a woman in her business. She'd have her best performing month ever in the business. 30 days later, she's sabotaging everything. And I'm like, oh, that is so weird, right? And it was weird until I did it myself. And then that's when I discovered nervous system regulation. That's when I discovered the importance of really understanding how our brains and our nervous systems work, because that ultimately, at the end of the day, when you understand that, is what helps you manifest and receive more and expand your capacity to have a better and better life. Now, of course, I'm a very spiritual woman, so I'm not going to sit here and say, it's all us little humans, right, who are figuring this out. A lot of what I talk about when it comes to nervous system regulation is finding something that's bigger than you. I have women from all over the world who are watching this channel right now, from India to Australia to Eastern Europe to Western Europe to the United States to Latin America. So there's so many different cultures who are watching this channel right now, which I'm very grateful for. And whatever it is in your culture or whatever it is in your life, I always tell women, like, you need to believe in something that's bigger than you. You need to find some sort of spiritual path that works for you, because that's going to help so much when you are learning about nervous system regulation, because you realize it's not all on you. There is some sort of higher power here that is meant to help you and also, work on your behalf, right? So it's very helpful to have some sort of spiritual practice or spiritual belief system as we're going through these things, right? That's not something I used to talk about very much in my previous businesses, but I'm going to be talking about it moving forward, because I am a product of that. And I know how much of a difference it makes in someone's life when they believe that, they are not separate from God. They are love. They are meant to have good things. God wants them to have good things. And again, insert whatever your spiritual belief is here. So I came to the conclusion that most people are addicted to chaos through training, hard knocks of my own life, and thousands of hours of coaching women in different areas of your life. So let's get into what chaos addiction actually is, particularly when it comes to relationships, because the same thing happens in relationships, right? I could have a woman who is doing very well in business, she is making money, and then she'll pick the wrong dude, and then that's going to make her life extremely chaotic. Or I will have women who finally start attracting like very good, consistent men, and then they go sabotage it. It's because your nervous system is not on board with it. So, what is chaos addiction? What does it actually look like? The reality is that it isn't just like a pattern or a bad habit. It is actually a physiological addiction. We are addicted to chaos. There's people out here in the world who are addicted to suffering, and I can tell you this from my husband and I having lived in multiple countries at this point. This is universal, right? That there are people in the world in every country who are addicted to suffering, while there are others, again, in every country who have done the work on themselves to basically disengage from that addiction. Now, how do we get to this physiological addiction? Well, if you grew up in a household where there was emotional inconsistency, neglect, pressure to perform, then, chaos feels like home. I grew up in a household where there was a pattern of survivor's guilt. For example, I was born in the United States to Cuban immigrants, and my entire family basically had to escape the Cuban Revolution, and they had a pattern, and still have a pattern, of survivor's guilt, right? So every time life would start getting good in our lives, there would be some sort of chaos around the corner. Someone gets sick, someone ends up in the hospital, someone dies. So I grew up with this pattern of, success and good things are not safe because there's something bad right around the corner. And I was living my life on this hamster wheel of that, constantly chasing this idea of safety. And then, for example, the more money I would make, the less safe I would feel, and then I would go sabotage. So that would be an example of how that works out. Now, in your family, it might be completely different things. That's just what it was in my family, and it happened to be a pattern of survivor's guilt. So what happened? I get to my 30s, I'm more successful than ever. I sabotage and absolutely lose everything, which then leads to my spiritual awakening, where I started becoming aware of all of these things and starting to rewire my brain, where in 4 months, I was able to manifest a protector, provider, masculine man of a husband. In a year, I was already living in different countries and traveling a lot more. And maybe a couple of years after that, now we've got 2 businesses that bring income into this household. Manifesting through my husband's business was the main way that it happened. And now this YouTube channel brings in income. And I started this for fun on the side. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I had to realize that I too was addicted to chaos most of my life. And then I had to rewire my brain and my nervous system to start feeling safety with good things, and realizing that just because good things are coming into my life doesn't mean that they're going to be taken away from me in 2 weeks, which is the story and the pattern that I had, and what my body and my nervous system and my energy were playing out over and over and over again. Because the reality is that your brain is wired for the familiar, not the fulfilling. I have said this before. Your brain is not here to make you happy. Your brain is here to keep you safe, which means it's our job to rewire our brain to be able to receive more and feel safe with blessings. You would think that most people start receiving blessings and then everything's great and dandy and wonderful. But the reality is that most people don't feel safe with blessings, and that's why they sabotage over and over again. And this is one of the reasons why peace and consistency, a reliable man, for those of you who are dating, feels foreign and unsafe, but the chaos makes you feel alive. It's that trope, right? Where it's like the good guy doesn't get the women because the women aren't attracted to the good guy and the women are attracted to the bad boy. It's that trope, right? So that trope of women not liking good guys and only wanting the bad guys is because those women have a nervous system where chaos feels alive. So they're going to pick the bad boy because they like the chaos. That would be another example in which that shows up. So here are some of the signs that you are actually addicted to chaos. One sign is that you feel anxious when things are going well because you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. I caught myself doing this a couple weeks ago because life is freaking good, okay? My husband's business is doing well. Mindful Success Path is starting to bring in clients and money passively, which is something that I'd been wanting for a very long time. I'll do another video on making money from a feminine energy. place, because it's definitely very different than how I used to live my life. My husband just bought us a cruise for our anniversary, so we'll be going to the Bahamas in the winter as a surprise for me. We just booked our travel to go visit family during the holidays in Miami. We're planning our travels for the next year. We're looking into going to Uruguay, Argentina, Portugal, all these things. We're getting, like, I think I mentioned this in another video, through my husband's business, we're like getting recognized in the street where we live because they're seeing us on YouTube. We're helping people. I mean, we're really getting connected in some big ways. We're healthy. The relationship is going really well. And I caught myself a couple weeks ago feeling very uncomfortable and feeling anxious. And I had to catch myself and be like, oh, this is the addiction to chaos coming up. This is the addiction to feeling like because things are going well, there's going to be some shoe that drops. What do I do in that moment? I do my own nervous system regulation work, which if you want to go deeper into regulating your nervous system, then check out the Hustle to Harmony masterclass below, because that's where I go really deep into the science and the process of all of this stuff. And I use real life examples. So the other thing that happens when you're addicted to chaos is you self-sabotage. And this is what I saw women doing for 15 years. I'd see them making more money than they've ever made in their lives, and then they would find a way to lose it all, right? Women would finally get in a relationship with a really good guy. She'd break up with him and get with the guy who's horrible for her. Or for example, like, let's say you've had like health issues, you start to feel healthy, right? And then boom, here comes an issue, right? The minute things start to feel calm and feel better, boom, you have a flare up, boom, something's going on, boom, something's wrong. The way that some people talk about this is they might call it something like an energetic container, like you're having container issues, being able to receive the good. Guy Hendricks, who wrote a book called The Big Leap, I actually interviewed him on my first podcast many years ago. In my previous business, he coined this the upper limit problem, that things start going well and you will find a way to sabotage because you feel uncomfortable. It's an addiction to chaos. We now know. So there's so many different ways in which this can show up. But if you're finding yourself doing these things, you, my dear, have an addiction to chaos, and most people do. The other thing that may happen here is you feel yourself being drawn to intensity, to drama, and to emotional roller coasters, even if they hurt you, because that's what makes you feel alive. And that's how you know you have an addiction to chaos. And another way in which you know you're addicted to chaos is that peace feels unfamiliar and you interpret calm as danger or disconnection. And I'll be very transparent here in this particular story. My husband's been public about this stuff, so I can share it. My husband grew up in a household where there was a lot of chaos and there was a lot of addiction in the household. In fact, he doesn't remember a lot of his childhood because I think he blocked a lot of it out. So before my husband did a lot of the work on himself, because at some point everybody needs to do this. This isn't just women who go through this. There's men who go through it as well. This is a human condition thing. Before my husband started doing work on himself and before he became self-aware and started learning about these things, and this was before he met me, he was addicted to chaos. So he would pick women who were very chaotic, because he thought that's what was normal. His nervous system thought that's what love was. It wasn't until he was in his late 20s, early 30s when he started to realize, oh, wait a second, something here's not right. And he started doing the work on himself. And then once he started doing the work on himself, well, that's when he was able to manifest me. But there were moments early on in our relationship where, for example, I would be calm. Like, let's say we're having a moment of conflict or disagreement. I would be calm and he would be freaked out because he was used to women being very dramatic and in some cases violent and abusive in some way. So when I wasn't that, he actually thought something was wrong and there was disconnection and danger because there wasn't a bunch of drama. Now, obviously my husband's not like that anymore, but that's to give you an example on how, this is a human condition thing, guys. We all need to work on this. It just so happens that this is a YouTube channel for women. So I'm going to call out the truth here, right? If you're addicted to chaos, you are dysregulated in your nervous system because chaos feels more comfortable to you than calm, right? And if you find yourself being in calm situations where things are going well and you're bored or anxious or you want to blow everything up, you, my dear, are dysregulated and addicted to chaos. Now you know. So here's how you start rewiring your brain and your nervous system for peace. One thing that I like to do, which has been very helpful to me which I mentioned earlier in this video, is having some sort of a belief system where you believe in something higher than yourself. So for example, I'm a big fan of A Course in Miracles and that whole spiritual text, and in it often says things like, give things up to the Holy Spirit. So so a couple weeks ago when I felt myself being like, oh, wait a minute, things are going really well, here comes my anxiety, then I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, I give this up to you. So that for me is very, very helpful. The other thing to understand is that nervous system regulation is the actual path to lasting transformation. This is what makes changes stick at the end of the day, which is why I highly recommend learning how this works and checking out the Hustle to Harmony Masterclass, which you can find below because I'll go deeper into it. The reality is that you have to train your body to feel safe in calm and grounded energy. And many of you, you could have grown up in great households, but the world is chaotic, right? I mean, the world right now is super chaotic, which is why my husband's business is doing quite well. We have a relationship crisis. There's violence going on all over the world. There's a lot of things that feel upside down in the world right now. We all went through a pandemic not too long ago. The world is crazy, and we're finding out about it faster than ever. So, you could have grown up in a perfect household, but you just go out into daily life and boom, it's an assault on your nervous system already. You're just like waiting for some new chaos to break out all the time, right? So you have to train your body to feel safe when things are calm and grounded. So one of the things that you can do the giving it up to the Holy Spirit, like I said, which is my personal practice. Insert whatever your practice is based on your religion or culture. Like I said, we've got women from all over the world starting to watch us right now, which I'm very grateful for. You can also practice daily grounding practices with my private clients. There's a specific meditation that I teach them in order to do this. You can start noticing, right? You can start noticing when peace and calm and good things and blessings feel unsafe. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, who taught you that love equals chaos? Or who taught you that money equals chaos? Or who taught you that success equals chaos? Or who taught you that the good can't last too long because the shoe's about to drop? Who taught you all of that? Where did you pick that up? And then you can start to rewire for peace. And then, of course, you want to learn how to replace the high of chaos, because it is a high, with the depth of safety and connection. Again, when it comes to dating, I say this all the time, women a lot of times have to rewire their minds and their bodies and their nervous systems to start being attracted to men who are good to them and for them, rather than men who are bad for them because they get some sort of high from the bad guy. So here's a quick recap, right? You're not addicted to drama because you actually want it, right? You're just wired for it, and your body feels like it's getting some sort of a high, which is why you keep choosing it. But that wiring can change with practice and with time, because the feminine and divine feminine energy, she actually thrives in peace, not panic, in stillness, not chaos, in being, not doing. So again, for nervous system regulation work specifically, I highly recommend checking out the Hustle to Harmony Masterclass, which you will find the link below. If you go to the description, you'll see a header that says nervous system regulation, and you'll see all the trainings that we have specifically on nervous system regulation. Because in Hustle to Harmony, I will go through the 4-step process that I use to manifest whatever it is that I want in my life. And I use this process whenever I start feeling anxious and wanting the chaos, right? Because things are going so well. And I will explain how I use this process to totally rewire my brain to the point where I manifested a masculine provider husband within 4 months and didn't sabotage it. Manifested living in other countries within a year, and within a couple years manifested, success and recognition and businesses, first through my husband and now through Mindful Success Path, and feeling really freaking good in it. After spending 10, 15 years single, hustling my ass off for money, losing everything, and on this constant roller coaster of like things are going really well and then they're going really terrible. They're going really well and then they're really going terrible. So if that's something you relate to, then definitely make sure to check out the Hustle to Harmony Masterclass below. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I am honored to be your teacher. I am honored that we have an international audience right now. It's very exciting for me, and also very eye-opening to see how some of the themes that we're talking about are completely universal, no matter where you come from, what country or culture you were born into, where you've moved to in the world, because there's a lot of that as well. So thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one.